This is The Rundown. I'm Hari Srinivasan. Joining us from The Economist is Brendan Greeley here in our newsroom. You've spent the night on an IRC and an internet relay chat to help kind of dig a new level of depth into this WikiLeaks story that keeps going and going. A lot of websites around the world have reported been taken down. And you're talking to the group of people. I guess it's not really even a group. You're talking to some of the people responsible.
So what this is a voluntary botnet. Everybody agrees, I'm going to download the software onto my computer, and then we're all going to agree to use our computers at the same time to launch what's called a distributed denial of service attack. And basically what it does is it floods a website with so many requests, so many bogus visitors that from so many different directions that the site simply crumples under the traffic.
It's like me pressing reload over and over and over.
It's about 1,500 of you pressing reload from 6 different locations.
Got it.
Yes.
Right. So this series of attacks have moved on from one site to another site to another site, which have impeded WikiLeaks and Julian Assange.
Yes, and now Visa and MasterCard as well.
Right. Now that's where a lot more people are concerned, saying, hold on a second, I got no opinion on this WikiLeaks stuff. I'm trying to pay for my taxi cab, and I can't do it. Why would this all be interconnected?
So they see themselves as protesters. They have a very broad, so I went back onto the channel where I was last night talking to them, and I asked them some more questions, and we talked a lot about the definition of free speech. So there's an understanding of sort of what the American Constitution guarantees in free speech, which is essentially that the government can't prevent you or I from talking openly. They interpret it much more broadly, and they believe that everybody has an inalienable right to say whatever they want on any forum whatsoever. Again, I can't attribute this to everybody within the movement, but this was the sense that I got in the chat room, was that there was a broadening of that definition, or they understood it much more broadly, and they understood that Visa and MasterCard and PayPal and PostFinance were all inhibiting WikiLeaks' right to free speech.
In some ways, these are the very similar types of attacks that WikiLeaks' website was under for the first few days.
And it also points to the difficulty of anyone, even if it were the U.S. government attempting to stop this site. It's just really difficult to shut down a website. If it's got 5,000 people who are willing to help it out, that's 3,000 sites that they can maybe set up, and that's a lot of whack-a-mole that you have to play to shut the site down.
So who holds the keys inside Anonymous? There are a smaller group of self-organized leaders that can harness the power of all these volunteer computers?
I think it's most interesting as sort of a model of internet governance. So there are several checks on power within Operation Payback, this sort of smaller group that's working sort of as part of Anonymous. They refer to each other as Anons. There are about 10 people who have the ability to actually launch an attack. However, they can't just randomly launch an attack. And in order to do it, you have to go on this IRC chat, and anyone can suggest a target. And that person then has to make a compelling case for the target, and then whoever happens to be, it's a quorum of whoever happens to be awake, can vote up or down on this target, and the sort of understood bylaws of this group are that they go with the target that everybody voted on. However, you have a check on that target, which is that if you personally do not believe that that's the right target, you can pull your own computer out of the botnet. So if somebody has not made a compelling enough case, enough people may pull their computers off of this voluntary botnet that the attack might not be nearly as effective. So it is, in fact, an amazing kind of Athenian democracy. If you forget sort of the ethics of what they're doing, place that to one side, what they've achieved is sort of this set of checks and balances that agrees in a very fluid way on what the target is. I have evidence that there are about 1,000 people who believe in free speech, and there are about 500 who are willing to put their computers where their mouths are and actually lend themselves to the botnet. And there have been as many as maybe 1,200 people involved in that botnet.
All right, Brendan Greeley from The Economist, the technology correspondent. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me in.
This is The Rundown. I'm Hari Srinivasan. Stay with us.